it properly. Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for the Vicki Boutin design team, and this week we are working with glazes. And Vicky's glazes are probably some of the most versatile glazes that I've used. I love, and if you guys know, I'm addicted to the iridescent and the gold glaze, and I'm actually going to use quite a bit of them in this layout. So I'm going to start by adding yeso oshi with a pre-yeso foundation paper, and I'm actually gonna yeso it, not like right now, but I'm gonna take it off camera so you don't get to see that part. And all I do is, in case you're wondering, I just add yeso and push it around with my brayer. It just gives me a really thin application. Now, you saw the picture that I'm gonna document. That's my niece, and that's on a recent trip they took to Mexico. And in the picture, she was standing in front of a butterfly wings, but she's wearing a shirt that is, I'm gonna say, it's like cornflower blue. And I played a little bit with some of the formulation outside of the camera, and the closest that I could get to the color of the shirt was by mixing blueberry pie. This is the watercolor marker, blueberry pie, a little bit with the oven with some iridescent glaze. And I'm gonna mix it, and I want a very faint color. I want like something really, really pale that is just gonna bring a little bit of color to the page. You're gonna see that I'm gonna mix it really well, and once I have it mixed, I'm gonna dilute it. I want to dilute this mixture so that it resembles watercolor, like really loose watercolor. And the reason is because I'm going to add it pretty much to be the base of my layout. So think about a watercolor wash. This is pretty much what I'm going to do with this iridescent paint in this case. So right now you're going to see that the screen went a little bit blurry, and it's not your screen. It's actually I bump into the camera. But when I decided to turn on the air conditioning and didn't realize that the camera, went out of focus. So it's gonna take a minute or two, and then it's gonna go back to being clear. So all I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna add a little bit of water to my foundation paper that has already been yeso, and then I'm gonna add the watercolor on top of it, or in this case the iridescent paint, and I'm gonna spread it with my brayer. And what that's gonna do is just kind of spread the color in a really thin application. Remember, I don't want a thick application, I just want to wash. But once I add it, I don't want when you play with your brayer, you're gonna get more of I'm gonna say some straight lines, just because the way the brayer is rolling the paint, and I don't want that. I want something more organic. So my choice is I'm just gonna start adding some splatters towards the edge of the brayer tray, where the brayer put the paint, just to create a more organic look. I want something more that looks more like watercolor. So you're gonna see that I'm just adding water, adding the paint, and just moving it around. Pretty much I'm just creating little puddles in the paper. And because I have, you're gonna see it right now, because I yeso my foundation paper, in this case the glitter, no, the iridescent paint, you can call it, it's gonna stay afloat. So it's gonna give me time for me to move it around. And now you're gonna see that once in a while I'm gonna pick up the paper and kind of move the paper so that the watercolor moves on its own to create a few drips. Like I said, my idea was I just wanted a wash at the bottom of this layout, and if you see the image, kind of a soft diagonal look. That's the kind of look that I'm going for this layout. And once I am happy with what it looks like, and it's going to be really faint, I'm going to set it aside to dry. And because it's really humid lately in Toronto, it's taking a little bit longer for everything to dry faster, or it's not drying as fast as it is when the heater's on, for example. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to start working on some embellishments for this layout. And I had this idea of actually using the iridescent glaze to create a stamp look for my layout. But once I tried it, I realized that I'm going to have to fussy cut these butterflies. And it's not, because I am stamping with water, it's not giving me a clear image. So my choice was to avoid that plan and actually use the stencil brush and a mixture of the iridescent glaze and the gold glaze to create more of a stencil look on this pre-made mixed media background. And I choose this background because it has some of the blue that my niece is wearing, it has some of yellow, and if you see the butterfly wings, they're yellow. So once I've created the mixture of the iridescent glaze with the gold glaze, and I'm just gonna lighten a little bit of that deep gold tone that's on that the gold iridescent glaze has. I just want something a little bit lighter. So once I have mixed the two glazes together, I'm gonna use first the brush just to pick up some of the glaze and go on a circular motion on top of the smaller butterflies. And these butterflies are the ones from the Field Notes stencil set. And I'm just going to go on a circular motion on top of the butterfly just to create the impression on the mixed media paper. Now for the big butterfly, I am actually going to use my palette knife because I want a little bit of texture on that one. That's going to be, I'm going to say, one part of the focus of my layout. So I wanted something that was going to be big, not big, but it was going to be larger. And I'm adding the texture. That's just going to balance everything else that I'm adding. But I wanted the other butterflies just to be soft. So all I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm using my stencil brush just to create those 3 butterflies. And then the bigger one is just, I'm going to say, like, push the iridescent glaze through the stencil using a palette knife. Now, my background has dried, and I'm going to go back to just accent more of that blue that I had created. So my idea is I'm going to use this stencil is from the All the Good Things collection. So one of the first stencils that Vicki came up with. And again, I'm going to use a mixture of the iridescent glaze with that blueberry pie watercolor marker, but I'm going to add more of the blueberry pie watercolor marker this time because I want something a little bit more pigmented. I want a richer tone. So once I have that mixed all nicely or mixed really well, I'm going to stretch the iridescent glaze on my mat, and then I'm going to pick up the color with my brush, or the mixture, sorry. And then first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a circular motion on top of the stencil just to create the butterfly impression. And then I don't know if you can see, I'm just going to make it really fast because it's going to take a while. Is I kind of stippled the brush on top of the stencil. That's going to create really soft textures. Think of, I don't know if you've seen popcorn ceilings. This just creates something like that, but really, really soft. And the reason what I wanted is I wanted a little bit of texture to the background, but this is actually going to deepen the color of the impression. Once that's in place, I'm going to set it aside to dry. You're going to see that I don't cover the entire area, just certain areas, and a lot of it is going to be covered by the rest of the stuff that I'm going to add. So don't, it's not that I wanted to cover the mixed media, it just happened that way. And then it just diluted some of the glaze that I had and added splatters because I want the richness of the color. Now while that is setting and drying completely, I'm going to go ahead and just start fussy cutting the butterflies. Now when I fussy cut the butterflies, I am going to actually cut around the edge. There's the butterfly creates an inner design, and then there's an outer line. So I'm going to make sure that I cut right at the edge of the outer line so that I can get the antennae and everything, all the details that it has. And I'm going to set them aside to dry. At the same time, I fussy cut some of the flowers from the holographic paper, and I actually also fussy cutted some of the hearts for the rainbow heart paper. I just cut things that had a lot of to do with blue. I just want to accent that color. And then all I'm doing right now is just adding some layers of paper. Like I said, I'm already running out of the color kaleidoscope, so I'm using scraps that I have and being kind of inventive with my scraps. So all I'm doing right now is just adding some foam adhesive just to make sure that the picture props from the page. I want it to stand out. I don't want it to be flat on my page. And once I have that in place, I'm actually going to make sure that it's straight because there's going to be a lot of things to round in it. I am actually going to use these, leaves. Flowers and leaves that I cut from the vellum paper just as to create my cluster. Now that this layer looks better in person than it does in picture, and that is because in person you're able to see the detail of the flowers. They don't look it's hard to photograph holographic paper, so here it just looks a little bit messy, but in real life it looks prettier than that just because you're able to see the details, and you're able to see through the vellum and the type of shine that the holographic design has. I hope that makes sense. So all I'm doing is kind of creating clusters. Like I said, because of the nature of the paper, you cannot even look at it that well. It looks just really clunky, but it's not. Now, the thing that I'm doing right now is because I'm just to make sure that I kind of hold the vellum in place, is I'm using glue dots. And the way I do it is I kind of roll them so that it become these little tubes or these little rolls, and I'm just add them behind the little lines of the holographic detail on the leaf so they stay in place. That way you won't see them through the paper. I hope I hope I was able to explain it better. It's a little bit hard sometimes to explain things that my brain is thinking in Spanish. So all I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna play with some of the foam adhesive to add some lift to the wings of the butterflies that I created. And I had this idea of creating a triangle towards the bottom of the page, and it wasn't gelling that great. I set it aside for now, and I'm just gonna add a few more butterflies using that glaze that I had created. Just because when I added the flowers and I'm gonna add the butterflies, some of them are gonna be hidden. So I'm just gonna add a few of the small ones, not lots, just a few of the little small ones to certain areas, just so they show when I add everything. Now to create my title, I'm gonna use, actually these are the puffy stickers from the color kaleidoscope collection, and I picked up because they're blue, and they remind me, if you look at them, they have the same color as my niece's short. So once I put the word remember, then I know my title is gonna sit there, and I'm gonna place the butterfly right underneath of it, kind of flying towards the title. And then I'm gonna bring the chipboard sticker and use the word today. This is my second set of the chipboard stickers, and I can find them nowhere else. I love these chipboard stickers. I was so sad. I was trying to save them for a better day, but I'm going to end up using them. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just going to spell the word today, and I'm bringing that holographic look just because I have it on the flowers. And I'm going to accent quite a bit of the paper, sorry, not the paper, the layer with that kind of tone from the chipboard sheet. So all I'm gonna do right now is I'm just adding a few more little details, a few pieces of chipboard. Like I said, I fussy cut those hearts. I'm gonna bring these little butterflies. They're from one of the sticker books from Vicki. I don't know if I think it's from Field Notes. Yes, from Field Notes. And they had these little tiny butterflies, and I'm just gonna add them towards the top of the picture, because there's I don't have that much space, and I don't think I need to add one of the big butterflies. It's just gonna make it really clunky. So I'm just gonna add the small little stickers at the top, and then I'm gonna add some of those little holographic chipboard hearts just to complete the look that I'm going for. After that, I'm gonna actually move the butterfly that was at the bottom of the picture towards the other one, kind of like, so they are like in a little group at the top. And then I'm gonna add my lines to journal in the area where the butterfly was at. Now that I have that in place, I'm gonna add some of the stamped sentiment. Oh, no, I'm gonna stamp some of the sentiments from a few of Vicky's stamp set. I'm using the one from Field Notes, one from All the Good Things, and I'm also adding one from a Color Kaleidoscope. And I just want the sentiments. When I added my story, it says noted the good stuff. I think the one on top says happy day, and the one in between the butterflies smile. After that, all I'm gonna do is dilute a little bit more of the glaze and kind of create my own color shine. I just want some accents of the gold because I have the gold in the butterflies. And that's about it. Like I said, this layout is super beautiful, but it looks so much better like in real life than it does on the picture, just because the camera doesn't pick the holographic look that nice. So the vellum looks bunched up, but in real life you can see through it. So it's hard to photograph, but I love how this turned out. It was super easy. Like I said, glazes are a super fun medium to use, and they're so versatile. There's a lot of things that you can do with it. And if you have any questions on how this came together, don't hesitate to contact me. I would love to help you. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Take care.